So, how do you sign clients as a new start OnlyFans management agency? Well, in this video, I'm going to detail to you exactly how I started out in OFM, how I signed my first models, and I'm going to show you the simple systems and strategies that you can implement into your own OnlyFans management agency as a beginner, so you can start growing and scaling this business. Now, just a little intro to myself. My name's Ollie, and I currently run two agencies, one being an SMMA that helps e-commerce businesses, which is at a 6-figure run rate, and an OnlyFans management agency, which is what we're going to be detailing in this business. All the stuff within this video you're going to be able to instantly take and replicate in your own agency, and hopefully we'll get you signing clients as quickly as possible. So we're just going to jump into the computer. I'm going to show you some stuff live and direct on there. Let's get into it. So guys, how to sign models as a beginner. Now, the first place we're going to actually want to start is your personal network. So what I mean by personal network, first of all, we want to look for models that we know personally, or creators that we know personally. So we're going to think friends of friends, previous relationships, that kind of thing. These people are going to be your absolute hottest leads. They have a personal relationship with you, and they should have a 100% reply rate, really, and a much more positive response than a completely cold prospect. Once we've exacerbated this audience, we're then going to want to look at your social medias, and we're going to want to check through your followings. Now, I would be very surprised if you didn't follow or are not followed by at least one OnlyFans model. I think there's like over 2.1 million models out there, and so if you didn't follow a single one, I'd be pretty surprised. Now, again, these are going to be warmer prospects. They already have some sort of connection with you, and then this is where you're going to want to hit up next. Once you've moved through your following and you've outreached to every girl on here, hopefully you would have signed one or two models potentially. But if not, there are other methods. So the next method we're going to want to move on to is paying for model contracts. Now, within the OnlyFans industry, there's actually the opportunity to just buy a contract for a model, which is quite a strange concept. If you're in the SMMA space, there's absolutely pretty much no way of doing this. You can't effectively buy the contract to running Facebook ads for an e-commerce store. But within this space, you can literally buy the contract to manage a creator's account. So that's pretty powerful, especially if you're starting out as a beginner and you have funds available. You can literally just go and pay, and you have a model to sign up. So to do this, what you're going to want to do is join Telegram groups. That's where most of them are, and there's tons of them out there. And basically, models are posted daily within these groups. You just need to approach the contract sellers with your offer. Sometimes they'll list the price, sometimes they'll want the best offer. And basically, the models in here range from all different demographics, different looks, different niches, different experiences on OF, and their price will kind of depend accordingly. If they've got very good English skills and they've been earning money on OnlyFans, they're going to be a more expensive model. Whereas if they've maybe got poor English, they're inexperienced on the OnlyFans space, they're going to be much more affordable. And the kind of price range does depend on that, as I say, but you can pick up a pretty decent model or creator from around about, on the low end, $350, and then obviously depending on earnings, it can be multiple thousand, maybe even 10,000 for a contract. So like I said, you can literally pay for contracts of girls that are already making money on the platform, which is just a fantastic opportunity. You can literally buy a business basically, or buy the contract to a business that is already generating revenue. And because of the nature of the space and it's the adult industry, the amount that you can actually get this contract for is actually really appealing. So potentially, if a model is already making 2K a month on OnlyFans on her own, you can potentially pick that contract up for 2-3K, and you can make your money back in a month or two. It's incredibly powerful and kind of a no-brainer. But obviously, if you're starting out with lower funds, you can just pick up these models that are kind of less experienced. So the next place that we're going to look is organic outreach. So basically what you want to do with organic outreach is create or buy an Instagram account for both yourself or your team and your agency. And so you want to have multiple Instagram accounts. Now, the reason for having multiple Instagram accounts is basically just for volume and so you can increase the volume of DMs sent per day. You don't want to be restricted to just one account, and if you burn through an account and overdo the limits on Instagram, you will get that account restricted for maybe a week, and then you wouldn't be able to send any outreach. Now, in terms of the best accounts to create, personal accounts that are, an actual person, so yourself or one of your team members, will get a much higher response rate from models than your agency account. But it is still very important to have your agency account, as it allows the model to put a name sort of behind the business you're talking about, and they can literally go and view it. Maybe it has a link to your website, and it's really good for that social proof if you have any. Now, an interesting point that I have discovered myself is that female personal accounts will gain a much higher response rate than a male from models. So if you don't have females on your team or you don't have access to a female Instagram account, what you can actually do is wait until you've signed a model, and you can use an Instagram that you've created for that model to do your outreach on. This is an incredibly powerful method, and we get crazy response rate from doing this. Now, the next method to sign your first model, I haven't personally used myself and haven't used it at all at my agency. None of the team have used it to sign models. But basically what it is dating apps and meetup apps. So these are things like seeking.com. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's basically an app where girls can find sugar daddies that want to take them out, etc. Obviously, girls that are on an app like Seeking and are already prepared to do these sort of things will more than likely be very comfortable with OnlyFans. So what you want to do with that is you just want to create an account. I think it's best to use a paid account, and you'll get girls directly inbound to you, and you just want to spark up conversation, mention that you run an OnlyFans management agency eventually, and that they would be a good fit, and try and sell them on the idea of working for your agency. Now, with Tinder and Bumble, what you want to do is you want to pay for the paid version. That will allow you to set your location to anywhere in the world, and you can literally set yourself up in, say, South America, and you will be able to find very good talent on there that are more than likely open to using OnlyFans. Like I said, I haven't personally done this myself, but the same process is sparking up conversation, explaining what you do for a living in terms of OnlyFans management, and then mentioning that the girl would be a good fit and if she would be interested in working with your agency. Now, there are other websites that I'm not going to mention on this video just because of the nature of them, but there are multiple other websites where you'll be able to find girls that are kind of already in the adult industry and would be open to working with OnlyFans. So now we've outreached to our models on Instagram and all these other platforms, and we're starting to get a positive response rate. What do we want to do? Well, we want to push to a sales call. Now, I much prefer taking sales calls in this industry than just trying to close completely off of DM, because it builds a better relationship. You get to actually see the model herself, kind of figure out her personality and whether she'd actually be a good fit for your agency. So we want to push the conversation to a scheduled Zoom call. We want to qualify the prospect on this call and present the value your agency will actually provide to them. Now, we want to present any guarantees also that you offer to your creators. So whether that's, I don't know, after 90 days you haven't doubled their OnlyFans income, you'll pay them $1,000, or potentially it's just a satisfaction guarantee, they can leave anytime they want kind of thing. You want to present that to them on the sales call, and actually it's probably a really good idea to do so if you're struggling to sign models, because it kind of reduces the risk on their part. Now, I have found the best method is to produce the contract on the sales call and present it to them and get them to sign it on the sales call. This means effectively after the sales call, you don't have to keep chasing them up. They've signed the contract and agreed to work with you, and this is definitely the best option. So once you've signed the contract and you're off the sales call, what do we need to do? Well, we need to onboard them. So we need to send them over any onboarding docs and requirement lists for the models in terms of content schedule, that sort of thing. We want to create a Google Drive and share access to the model so they can just upload all their content, any IDs and anything like that you'll need from them. We then want to gain access to the model's OnlyFans account, which is a very simple process. We then want to set up the payment method. Now, with the payment method, there's multiple ways to sort of do this. You can do it in the traditional SMMA method, where you just send the model a invoice at the end of the month. However, you do want to be very careful with this, because you take no money up front and you're effectively being paid on commission. This will leave sole responsibility to the model to pay your invoice. And effectively, when you're earning 20, 30K per month from a model, you know, the difficulty of getting that money can increase. And so you kind of want to set it up in a way where you're best protected. And that could look like something where you set up an account that you and the model both have access to and can both control, or one can't make payment on the account without the other confirming the two-factor authentication, that sort of thing. That's the kind of thing that will keep you safe and keep you getting paid within this industry. So once we set up the payment, it's showtime. We're ready to start scaling this model's account and ready to start getting paid. So guys, there you have it. There are basically the best ways to sign clients as a beginner. Like I said before, these are some of the ways that I have signed clients for my agency, and how you can do the same. Now, finishing notes on the video, whichever method that you decide to sign clients from, you need to stay consistent, and not jump from method to method to method. You need to pick maybe one or two methods, go all in with them, and just collect as much data there as possible, and then you can make iterations upon that data. And if you've got any questions about the OFM space in general, or more questions about this video, then feel free to just give me a follow on Instagram and ask me any questions that you have.